Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into what I consider to be one of the most high stakes, confusing, and at the same time, totally mundane environments in modern life.
The coffee shop.
The coffee shop.
Yep.
It's this global institution, right?
Right.
A universal thing in pretty much any city. And yet, walking up to that counter can feel like, I don't know, a pop quiz in advanced English.
It really can. It absolutely should be a sanctuary, you know, a place to comfort a low-stakes interaction.
Right.
But the sources we've looked at, they really demonstrate that the modern cafe, especially in English-speaking countries, is less about relaxing and more like an intense, rapid-fire exam.
An exam is the perfect word for it.
Yeah, you have to handle this highly specialized vocabulary, these weird measurement units that defy all logic, and a whole set of, like, critical, unwritten social rules.
Exactly. You're walking into a space that's designed to feel welcoming, but if you don't know the playbook, the exact sequence of words, or even the right moment to pull out your wallet,
Hmm.
you can walk out of there feeling stressed, misunderstood, or, in the worst case scenario, you've accidentally offended your barista.
And you don't even know why.
Yeah.
Our mission today is really to equip you, the listener, with the blueprint for navigating this. We want you to be successful in this high-speed environment.
We're going beyond just knowing what a latte is.
Oh, way beyond. We are getting into the how, the order of operations, the subtle cultural demands of the queue, the critical words that distinguish, an amateur confusing order from a fluent, confident one.
And the confusion, it starts immediately, right there on the menu board. I mean, think about the absurdity of the sizing names.
Oh, yeah.
You have these terms, tall, grande, venti. They're supposed to sound romantic and Italian, but they make absolutely no sense in English. They're a roadblock.
A linguistic roadblock disguised as a brand experience.
Mhm.
It's true. I mean, if you translate the Italian, venti means 20.
Right, 20.
But the cold version of that drink is 24 ounces.
Yeah.
And tall is the smallest standard size you can get. The word itself is a contradiction.
It's brand language completely overriding common sense. And this linguistic theater is a real barrier if you're a learner trying to figure it all out under pressure with a line of people behind you.
A line of impatient people.
Exactly. So we need to cut through all that noise so you can order with like surgical precision.
So the goal for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. By the end of this, you will stop guessing. You'll start ordering with precision, with clarity, and with the cultural competence to make that whole interaction smooth and, well, painless.
Let's start at the very beginning. The fundamental structure of a successful coffee order.
Absolutely. If there's one single piece of wisdom to take away from this, one golden rule for ordering, it's this. Structure matters more than anything.
More than being polite and chatty.
In this environment, efficiency is the highest form of respect.
Okay, so the foundation, based on what we've seen about how baristas actually work, is a strict linear structure.
Right.
It's size drink customizations. If you follow that pattern, the barista's already reaching for the right cup, they're grabbing the right syrup, they're planning the whole drink before you even finish your sentence.
That linear structure, it just streamlines the entire process, especially when it's busy. Now, think about the way most people talk, the common conversational style.
You mean like, hi, can I get a latte, please? Oh, and can you make it a medium? And with oat milk and vanilla?
Precisely. That's how we talk to our friends. But it forces the barista to filter and reorder everything you just said. They heard latte and maybe grabbed a cup?
Then they heard medium, which they have to mentally translate to grande.
And then they have to backtrack to remember the customizations. It just wastes seconds, but those seconds add up.
So the fluent, efficient version is
Grande vanilla latte with oat milk.
simple. Size first, drink type next. Then all the specific details. It gives them the information in the exact order they need it.
Perfect. So with that structure in place, let's decode the actual menu. These are the core espresso drinks that are basically the foundation for almost everything else.
And we have to start with the building block, right? The engine of the whole menu.
Espresso. It's a small, highly concentrated shot of coffee. It's extracted under high pressure, usually about 1 fluid ounce, and it is the heart of pretty much every other drink we're about to talk about.
Okay, simple enough. Next up is the Americano.
The Americano is just that espresso shot, but it's diluted with hot water. And the origin story is, well, it's a classic.
Is this the World War II story?
That's the one. The legend is that American soldiers in Italy found the pure Italian espresso just too intense. So they asked the baristas to water it down.
So it's an act of cultural compromise, basically, that's now a global drink.
Exactly. And here's where a small customization can make a huge difference. If you want a stronger, bolder Americano. The modification is so simple, but so powerful. Just ask for less water. It keeps the espresso's flavor and that nice crema on top, but it reduces the overall volume, makes it much more intense.
That is a great tip. Okay, now for the big three. The ones that cause all the confusion: latte, cappuccino, flat white. Let's start with the most common one, the latte.
So the word latte in Italian just means milk.
Just milk.
Yeah. So a latte is fundamentally espresso combined with a lot of steamed milk. It has the highest milk to espresso ratio of the big three. And it's finished with just a very thin, smooth layer of foam on top.
So because of all that milk, it's creamy and smooth. It's kind of the gentle, comforting option.
It is. Now, the cappuccino, that's all about texture, not just volume. A traditional cappuccino has espresso, yes, but then it's combined with equal parts steamed milk and, this is the key, more foam.
A lot more foam.
Right. It's much lighter. It's airier than a latte. It's often served with this big kind of dome of stiff foam right on top.
And this is where that advanced vocabulary comes in, right? The dry and wet thing.
This is a real pro move.
Yeah.
You can refine your cappuccino order with these terms. If you ask for it dry, that means you want more foam and less liquid milk. It makes it even lighter.
And wet is the opposite.
Exactly. Wet means less foam and more steamed milk. So you're moving it along the spectrum closer to a latte. It's a really precise way to get the exact texture you want.
I honestly never knew that. I just thought a cappuccino was a cappuccino.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. So what about its sophisticated cousin, the flat white?
The flat white originated, we think, in Australia or New Zealand. It's similar to a latte, but it's usually smaller, and that gives it a stronger, more intense coffee flavor.
Because it's a higher ratio of espresso to milk.
Right. Often it's the same amount of espresso as in a latte, just in a smaller cup. But the real defining characteristic of a flat white is the milk texture. It uses microfoam milk.
Microfoam. Okay, what is that exactly?
This is velvety, very dense texture. It's made by integrating just a tiny amount of air into the milk really carefully. The result is this shiny, smooth surface that doesn't really separate.
And that's what allows for all that fancy latte art you see.
That's it. It's completely different from the airy, stiff foam on a traditional cappuccino.
So understanding that texture difference, thick foam, thin foam, microfoam, that's actually crucial. If you want that smooth, creamy finish that's fully mixed in, you want microfoam.
And if you want that airy, dome-shaped topping that kind of sits separately, you want cappuccino foam.
Got it. Okay, now for the real landmine on the menu, the macchiato.
Yes. This drink has two completely different personalities.
Yeah.
And if you don't clarify which one you want, you could be in for a big surprise.
Okay, let's break down the two faces of the macchiato.
First, you have the traditional macchiato, which is
Yeah.
also called an espresso macchiato. The word in Italian means marked.
Marked.
Yeah. It's just a shot of espresso that is marked with a tiny spoonful or little dollop of foam on top. That's it. It's very strong, very small, very intense.
Okay, but then there's the other one, the one everyone sees advertised.
The ubiquitous chain-style macchiato. Your caramel macchiato. This is basically a layered drink, often built backwards. You'll have syrups on the bottom, then milk, and then the espresso is poured on top last to mark the surface.
So it's basically just a flavored latte with a fancy presentation.
Essentially, yes. And that's why you have to clarify, if you're in a new cafe and you order a caramel macchiato, you might get a tiny, super strong, traditional one instead of the big sweet drink you were expecting.
Good to know. Okay, finally, we have the mocha. That one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, a mocha is just a latte with chocolate syrup or chocolate ganache mixed in. Think of it as a hot chocolate that's been kicked up with an espresso shot.
And we should probably touch on a couple of the non-espresso classics, too, because they're on every menu now.
Definitely. Cold brew has become essential. It's important to know this is not the same as iced coffee.
Right. Iced coffee is just hot coffee that's been poured over ice, so it gets diluted really fast.
Cold brew, on the other hand, is coffee that's steeped in cold water for a long time, usually 12 to 24 hours. The result is a drink that is dramatically smoother, way less acidic, and naturally stronger because you use a lot more coffee to make it.
And for people who want something spicy, there's the chai latte.
Right, that's a spiced black tea concentrate or brew mixed with steamed milk. But the real power move, the thing you'll hear people ordering quickly, is a dirty chai.
A dirty chai.
A dirty chai is simply a chai latte with a shot or two of espresso added in. The dirty just means it has espresso in it. You get the spice, the creaminess, and the caffeine all in one.
Okay, that covers the lexicon. We know what to order and how to sequence it. Now let's get into where fluent English ordering really shows itself. The sizing minefield and the language of customization.
Yes, we have to come back to those sizing names, demi, short, tall, grande, venti, trenta, because they represent a total abandonment of normal English.
Mm.
Small, medium, large, gone.
And the sources gave us that history. Howard Schultz went to Italy, he was inspired, he wanted the names to sound romantic.
And the original menu only had short, tall, and grande.
So tall was the medium at one point?
It was. The paradoxes began when they had to add even bigger sizes, which demoted tall to being the new small, creating the mess we have today.
Okay, let's break down these volumes, starting with the smallest, the demi.
The demi is a tiny 3-ounce cup. It's used exclusively for espresso shots. And as you pointed out, the word demi is French for half cup.
Which is just absurd in an Italian-themed cafe, a French word for an Italian drink.
It's a wonderful collision of languages. Next up is the short, which is 8 ounces. It was an original 5s, but you don't really see it on the main menu anymore.
But you can still order it.
Often, yes. You can still ask for a short, hot drink. It gives you a much more concentrated, kind of European-sized milky coffee.
Okay, now the one that trips everyone up, tall.
12 fluid ounces. Tall is the smallest standard size on almost every modern menu. It completely contradicts its own name.
So if you order a tall latte, you're getting 1 shot of coffee and 11 ounces of milk. It's critical to know. Tall means small.
It does. Moving up, the grande is 16 ounces. This is generally the true medium. It's often the most popular size, gives you good balance.
And in a grande, you're usually getting 2 shots of espresso with about 14 ounces of milk.
Correct. Now, where the real complexity kicks in, as we mentioned, is the venti. The name means 20, and hot venti drinks are indeed 20 ounces. This size usually comes with 2 shots of espresso.
Wait a second. If a grande is 16 ounces with 2 shots, and a hot venti is 20 ounces with 2 shots, the venti is weaker, isn't it? Proportionally.
That is a brilliant observation, and that's a key fluency point. A standard hot venti is often milder than a grande because they don't automatically add more espresso for those extra 4 ounces of milk.
So if you want the strength to match the bigger size, you have to ask for it.
You have to use the modification language. You need to request a 3rd shot.
But that's just the hot venti. The cold venti is another story.
It's another paradox. The cold venti is 24 ounces. That's a 4-ounce jump. It's almost a quarter larger than the hot version.
Why? Why is there extra volume?
It's pure engineering and customer psychology. That extra 4 ounces is there specifically to account for the space the ice takes up. If they didn't add it, the cup would look half empty once the ice went in, and you'd feel ripped off.
So it's to make sure you get the right amount of actual liquid in addition to the ice.
That's the goal. And the caffeine count changes here, too, which is critical if you're trying to manage your energy.
Okay, how so?
While a hot venti usually gets 2 shots, a cold venti typically comes standard with 3 shots of espresso, not 2.
Oh, okay. That's the unwritten rule.
It is. That 3rd shot is added to counteract the dilution from all that extra ice and volume. It keeps the strength profile similar to the grande, but just in a bigger size.
Okay, that finally makes sense. Then we have the behemoth, the Trenta.
30 ounces. The name means 30. It is the biggest size they have. But importantly, it is only available for non-espresso iced drinks.
So iced coffee, cold brew, iced teas.
Right. You cannot order a Trenta latte or any Trenta espresso drink. period.
So mastering those 6 names and their crazy volumes, 3, 8, 12, 16, 20, or 24 and 30 ounces, is step 1. Step 2 is mastering the language to change the drink.
Exactly. Precision and modification is the hallmark of an advanced learner. You need specific, efficient language. Let's start with the most important one, caffeine.
Caffeine control. Okay.
To manage the strength, you have to be precise. If you want 0 caffeine, you ask for decaf. Simple. If you want to reduce the intensity a bit but still have some kick.
You ask for half calf.
Right. Half calf means half the shots are decaf, half are regular. It's so useful for an afternoon drink when you don't want the full dose of caffeine keeping you up all night.
Or if you need that serious caffeine fix, you specify extra shots, a double shot, triple shot, or you can just say add a shot to boost the strength.
The barista needs to know the exact number.
Yeah.
Now, temperature control. This also needs specific words, not just hot.
If you want it really hot, you say extra hot.
Yes, and that tells the barista to steam the milk to a higher temperature, usually between 170 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll stay warmer longer, but you have to be careful with it.
And on the other end of the spectrum, if you're ordering for a child or you just don't want to burn your tongue.
You ask for it at kids' temp. This ensures the drink is served much cooler, usually below 140 degrees. It's safe for immediate drinking. It's a really important safety term to know.
And for milk drinks, especially the ones where texture matters, like a cappuccino, you need to state your foam preference.
Clearly, no foam, light foam, or extra foam. This helps the barista steam the milk exactly how you want it. For example, if you order an extra hot latte, you might want to specify no foam,
Why is that?
because the very high temperature can damage the milk structure. It can cause the fat to separate and create this unpleasant bubbly layer of foam on top. So extra hot, no foam is a very specific, knowledgeable order.
Okay, now on to dairy alternatives. This is where texture, chemistry, and flavor all come into play.
The 3 most common are oat, almond, and soy. Oat milk has just exploded in popularity, and the sources explain why.
It's because it behaves a lot like dairy milk, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
It has a high concentration of fats and proteins, which makes it creamy, smooth, and gives it excellent frothing quality. Plus, its natural sweetness really complements coffee.
And the key is to look for barista blends. That's not just marketing.
Not at all. Those blends have stabilizers and buffers in them that specifically help the milk not to curdle when it hits the hot acidic espresso. The chemistry is so important.
Okay, so what about almond milk?
Almond milk is a sharp contrast. It's much lighter, it can be watery, and it really struggles to produce a stable foam.
Foam disappears really fast.
It does. And while it has a nice nutty flavor, it's very chemically sensitive. It's notorious for, well, for visually breaking or curdling if it's not warmed up very gently.
And then there's soy milk.
Soy milk gives you a creamy, thick texture. It froths reliably, usually better than almond milk. The only thing to consider is the flavor. Some non-barista blends can have a slightly beany taste.
That makes sense. Okay, last but not least, sweetness efficiency. Baristas hate confusing instructions here.
They really do. Things like half the amount of that syrup or just a little bit of flavor are too vague. The preferred, concise, fluent way to ask for less sugar is to just request the drink half sweet.
That's so simple, and it immediately tells them to cut the standard number of syrup pumps in half. No ambiguity.
None. Or, if you know the shop's recipe, you can specify the number of pumps, like 1 pump of vanilla. Or you can just ask for it to be lightly sweetened.
Okay, we've got the golden rule, we've got the technical vocabulary. Let's run through a few fluent sample orders to put it all together.
Great idea. Let's start with a complex one. A moderate strength, highly customized non-dairy drink to go.
Can I get a venti iced flat white with oat milk, half sweetened with only 1 shot of espresso, please?
That is dense, but perfect. Let's break it down. Venta is the size and temperature. Flat white is the drink. Oat milk, half sweetened, 1 shot. All the customizations. It flows exactly right.
Perfect. Okay, scenario 2. A simple, hot, but very temperature-specific order for here.
I'd like a short cappuccino, dry, extra hot, for here, please.
Again, excellent. It signals the preparation method, dry, the temperature extra hot, and where you'll be drinking it for here.
Okay, last one. A non-coffee item with precise instructions.
Hello, a grand chai latte made with soy milk, half calf, and served at kids' temperature to go.
That is fluency. Using terms like half-calf and kid's temperature shows you don't just know the words, you understand the process.
So now that we've mastered the language, let's talk about the culture, how we interact in the space.
Right. We're moving from vocabulary into sociology. And we have to start with the tipping minefield because the sources show this massive cultural split that's tied directly to local labor laws.
The need to tip is all about whether the employee's wage is subsidized by those tips.
Exactly. In the United States, tipping is generally customary. Often it feels required. And that's because, yes, that's another complication. Especially in big cities like London, places will often add an automatic service charge, maybe 12.5% to the bill.
So it's crucial to check the bill carefully. If it already says gratuity included or service charge, you are not culturally expected to tip on top of that.
It helps you avoid tipping twice and ensures you're following the local custom without overspending.
Okay, moving from the wallet to the floor. Let's talk about the universal language of waiting, the queuing ritual. This is a very serious social signal in some countries.
It really is. And the first difference is the word itself. In the United States, you wait in a line.
But in the UK, Australia, and a lot of other places, it's a queue.
Yeah.
And that small word tells you a lot about the expected behavior.
Yeah, it does, particularly in the UK. Queuing there is, well, it's more than a habit. It's practically a national character trait. One source joked it's a skill they're taught in the mother's womb.
UK queues are expected to be straight, orderly, and strictly first come, first served. And any deviation from that.
Any deviation, like leaving a big gap or trying to cut in what they call queue jumping, can result in immediate and severe nonverbal punishment.
We're not talking about yelling. We're talking about something much more subtle.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about a slow, intense side-eye, a sharp, pointed clearing of the throat, a sudden, dramatic rustling of bags to block the space you were trying to get into.
It's high-stakes social theater.
It is. And now contrast that with the U.S. The first come, first served rule is still absolute, but the lines can be a bit more randomly spaced. People are often on their phones. The physical organization is just less rigid.
But the anger over cutting is still there.
Oh, the anger is still there.
Yeah.
But whether you call it a queue or a line, the principle's the same. It's a fair way to ration a service. And cutting in line is offensive because it violates that social contract of fairness.
Okay, finally, let's get into the danger zone. The small behaviors that quietly annoy baristas and immediately signal that a customer is high maintenance.
Yes. The things a fluent, courteous customer just avoids. Let's start right at the ordering counter. The number one annoyance, according to the sources.
Ordering while you're on your phone.
Ordering while completely engrossed in your phone. Baristas are trying to have a quick human interaction. They appreciate eye contact, a quick hello.
If you treat them like an automated vending machine while you're texting, it's just bad form.
It is. The text can wait 60 seconds. Second is indecisiveness. It is totally fine to look at the menu board before you get to the counter.
But standing at the register and having a 2-minute debate with yourself while the line grows behind you is a major disruption. Know your order or step aside.
Third, the secret menu problem. This causes so much frustration. Do not assume the barista knows the unofficial name of a drink you saw on social media.
Like the unicorn frappuccino.
Exactly. Off-the-menu items are not on the menu. If you want a custom drink, you have to do the work. You have to tell them the base drink and then list every single syrup, sauce, and powder you want added.
You have to give them the recipe.
You have to give them the recipe. And the cardinal sin, number 4, the wildly complicated order. This endless list of ingredients, picky preferences, temperature changes.
If your drink needs 5 lines of instructions on the cup, you are that person. You're the most time-consuming customer of the day.
Beyond ordering, poor etiquette extends to how you use the cafe space itself. A major one is talking loudly, on a phone call, to a friend. A lot of people are there to work or read.
Your loud conversation disrupts that. And the barista is not there to police the noise level.
Another key point, hogging a huge table by yourself during peak hours. If it's the busy lunch rush and you're alone with your laptop, you should probably take a smaller table.
Spreading your entire life across a four-person table when other people are looking for a seat is just not good form.
And finally, leaving a mess when you leave. You're supposed to feel at home, but that doesn't mean leaving your dirty dishes and trash everywhere.
You have to tidy up your area, wipe up your spills, take your cups and plates to the designated bins or racks.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so mastering the coffee shop isn't just about avoiding mistakes. It's about sounding natural and comfortable. Let's talk about the advanced stuff. Fluent conversation boosters.
Filler words and hedging.
Right. Native speakers use these all the time in casual speech. They don't add meaning. They're there to fill silence, to buy you a second to think, or to soften what you're saying.
And if you avoid them completely, your speech can sound really rehearsed, almost robotic, like you're translating from a textbook.
They are the essential lubricants for casual conversation.
So what's in the arsenal? You have the classic hesitation sounds, and ah.
Those are just the little sounds you make when you need half a second to find the right word.
And then there's which is a bit more thoughtful. It signals you're actually weighing a choice. I like the sound of the flat white, but I think I'll try the dirty chai.
Then you have phrases for summarizing or clarifying. Basically, it's great for boiling down a complex idea. Basically, the problem with the venti is the shot count.
And I mean, is so versatile. You use it to clarify something or to correct yourself if you misspeak. The almond milk curdled. I mean, it visually broke as soon as the espresso hit it.
We also use phrases to manage what the listener might know. You know is used when you assume the listener already knows what you're talking about. It's that cafe on the corner, you know, the one with the red door.
And you see is the opposite. You use it to share a fact you assume the listener doesn't know. I was going to get the sugar-free syrup, but you see, they were completely out of it today.
It's that level of nuance that makes speech sound fluent. A few others are sort of and kind of. We use those constantly to soften a statement, to make it less absolute.
So instead of saying the service was slow, a native speaker might say, the service was sort of slow today. It just lowers the intensity.
And yeah, the emphasis words. Actually,
Where-
seriously, literally and totally.
Actually shows a contrast or corrects a misconception. I thought it was 16 ounces, but actually the tall is only 12.
And seriously and totally, just express strong feelings or agreement. That latte was seriously good. Or, I totally agree about the queuing.
And a quick warning about the word like. While it's not great for formal speech, it's used a lot as a filler in casual conversation. The key is to use it sparingly, because overusing it can make you sound a little unsure.
And to wrap up a thought, there's the great phrase, at the end of the day, it just means in conclusion, or when all is said and done.
We had a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, I still got my coffee.
Mastering these little words helps your speech flow, it gets rid of awkward pauses, and it just makes you sound so much more authentic, especially when you're under pressure, like when you're ordering.
Okay, let's wrap up with some fun, colorful idioms that use coffee concepts. They make you sound energetic and knowledgeable.
First, a classic piece of advice. Wake up and smell a coffee. This means you need to face reality, to realize what's really happening in a situation.
I feel like I need to say that to myself every Monday morning. Second, full of beans.
That means someone is just bursting with energy, really lively and active. It's perfect for describing kids or, well, anyone after a strong coffee.
Then there's perk up. It's a verb. It means to suddenly feel more awake or happy, usually after having some coffee. He looked exhausted, but he perked up after his Americano.
We also have slang for coffee itself. Needing a caffeine fix, getting a simple cup of joe, or the more humorous wake-up juice. Using these shows a lot of comfort with the language.
And finally, a clever play on words. Grounds for something.
This comes from the coffee grounds left over after brewing. It means you have a solid reason or justification for an action or a complaint. In fact, they got my order wrong 3 times, gave me solid grounds for complaint.
We have covered so much essential ground today. We started by defining that precise language, the golden rule, the high-speed sequence of size-up drink customizations.
We decoded that absurd sizing system, broke down the core drinks, the latte, the cappuccino, the microfoam flat white, and we gave you the exact language for modifications. Everything from half-calf to barista blend oat milk.
And most importantly, we navigated the critical cultural rules. The difference between expected tipping in the US and discretionary tipping in the UK, and the subtle but socially severe differences between the queue and the line.
We showed you how to achieve fluency by mastering those unwritten rules of etiquette.
So, as a final thought for you to take away, let's think again about that engineering discrepancy with the venti size.
Right. The hot venti, a 20-ounce cup, usually has 2 shots of espresso. But the cold venti, a 24-ounce cup, is engineered to have 3 shots.
And that extra unwritten shot of espresso is there for a purely practical reason, to counteract the dilution from the extra ice and volume. It's a hidden rule to ensure quality, but it's completely invisible unless you know to look for it.
So the question is, what other daily activities, what other conversations in English have these hidden rules, these extra shots of complexity that are completely unwritten but are totally necessary for real fluency?
And how can paying attention to those small, practical details, whether it's the third shot of espresso or the function of a filler word, unlock your confidence in the entire language?
Go out there and test your new skills. Order with confidence, follow the golden rule, and remember to smile at your barista.
See you on the next Deep Dive.